Okay, let's go.
Okay, welcome back to American Rants Unredacted. This is episode 17. So lately, the economy has been kind of a huge topic around social media, especially when it comes to finding jobs, being able to pay bills, and the struggle is it just keeps growing out there. I put a few clips together here that we're just going to go through and we'll comment on them. So let's just go ahead and get started.
Trump is being told privately is that the global economy is probably going to shrink over the next 12 months by 36%. 36%. Now, why is that important? Because the Great Depression reduced the world economy by 20%. Now, what's the difference between 20% and 36% today? Well, it's not just the percentage, it's also the fact that we are heavily in debt. We had practically no debt to GDP ratio at all in the 1930s. And we demanded from our allies in the First World War that they pay us not in cash, but in gold. And so we had vast quantities of gold pouring into the United States. My point is, what do we got now? We have a much higher debt to GDP ratio. It's at least 125%. Some people think it's really 130 and rising. Trump knows this. So if you're the president of the United States and you know you're in a very bad position economically, what do? You try to get out. What can he do? He has a choice. He can ride the Titanic to the bottom. He's already on the Titanic. It's already struck the iceberg. He can go down with it. Or he can try to get off, which means he has to jump in that ice cold water.
Yeah, so if those are the only options, I'm thinking he's going to want to find a way out of it, but may go down with the ship. Because I don't know how, I honestly don't know how he's going to fix the economy. There's millions of people who are homeless, who can't afford homes, who can't afford rent. There are families with children who are living in cars, living in rental U-Hauls, some living in storage units, which is going to be part of another video I'm putting together. But so yeah, I mean, you have just as many available jobs, and I think just as many people who are unemployed, but these jobs don't pay shit. So I mean, don't get me wrong, I feel like everyone, even if it's a crap job, like I know I got to find a way to take care of my kids. And if I was unemployed, I would take any freaking job that I could. I would get paid whatever I could. Side hustle if I have to. But bringing some money in is better than bringing no money in. So yeah. So I don't know what Trump's going to do, because he's a man of ego. And this is not going to look good on his record if he can't fix the economy and fix the United States and everything that's going on. So we'll see what happens, but let's continue.
More than 1 million Americans went to sleep last night in a vehicle. Not a shelter, not a friend's couch. A car. Parked on a side street, a church lot, or behind a 24-hour store, engine off, windows covered, trying to make sure nobody noticed. And here is the thing that makes this different from what most people assume. Many of them have jobs. Some have kids in school. Others are retired after decades of work. They don't look like the image we have of homelessness. And that is exactly why this crisis keeps growing, because the people caught inside it look just like everyone else. Today, we're going to walk through exactly what's happening, who it's happening to, and why the systems that were supposed to stop this have failed so completely. Let's start with the number the federal government doesn't talk about much. Every year, the Department of Housing and Urban Development releases a homeless count, a single-night snapshot meant to represent the full scale of the problem. But here is what that count actually measures: people in shelters and people visibly sleeping on streets. It does not count the family in the minivan parked 2 blocks from the elementary school. It does not count the man sleeping in his truck outside the warehouse where he works the early shift. It does not count anyone who has decided deliberately, to stay invisible. And that invisibility is not an accident. Families living in vehicles rotate locations every few nights to avoid being noticed. They choose quieter residential streets. They keep curtains across the windows. They leave before dawn. They do everything possible to look like they belong, because the alternative is a fine, a tow, or something worse. Researchers believe the true number of Americans sleeping in vehicles on any given night is dramatically higher than what official data shows. In California alone, vehicle dwellers make up close to 40% of the unsheltered population in certain areas. School districts across the country are reporting record numbers of students classified as homeless under federal law, and most of them are not in shelters. They are in cars with their parents. This is what the official count misses, and what it misses shapes every policy decision that follows.
Factory worker, 9 to...
That's insane. It's because of that clip that I started looking more into car living. And some of the stories that I've seen are, I mean, at least they're positive about it. They have like some sort of plan put together, but it's the people who are forced to do it. It's the people who have kids that have to do it. There's college professors who are living in their cars right now. And the whole thing, you know, ticket or towed or worse that they were referring to is it's become illegal in states to sleep in your own freaking car. Why? If that's what you got to do to keep yourself from living on the street, sleep in your damn car. I would. So that's something I think every state needs to overturn and allow people to do. If that's what they got to do, that's what they got to do. Everything's just too damn expensive. So if that's the only options people have, I feel like police, you guys just need to leave them the fuck alone.
$15 an hour.
Inflation calculator. Jeez.
Teens can't get
Inflation up 133%.
jobs because they have no open positions. Because adults are working these jobs. Because they can't get a job in their field of study with their degree. Or they have a job in their field of study with their degree, but it doesn't pay them enough to live, so they need a second job. That's simple.
That is something that I have noticed. There's a lot of adults doing what I would consider like your first job when you're a teenager and you are of age to start working. There's a lot of adults taking those jobs. So I don't know if it's not so much that I guess that the teens out there are lazy. It's more of availability for that particular job, I guess, because more and more you'll see adults work in the fast food restaurants. You'll see them delivering. Like I remember when I was like 16 and I was delivering pizzas, but now I'll have like a 55-year-old man deliver my pizza. So, I mean, times are tough out there and people are going to do what they got to do. And I do feel bad that they're taking jobs away from the teens, but I don't know. Like, it's just, people are just going to do what they got to do, I guess.
Everybody understands this, except for the news, apparently. It's not because they're lazy and don't want to wake up before noon for their job. Adults can't even get jobs right now, and we're surprised that teens aren't getting summer jobs?
One is the cushion. We are entering stage 4 of a 4-part economic collapse, and I'm going to explain it to you really quickly and easily so everybody gets this. Step 1 is the cushion. That's when everybody's got money and the economy's booming. Coming out of COVID, everyone had extra cash to spend. You had a stimulus check, you had savings built up because all the stores were closed and you couldn't leave your house and you had all this extra money sitting. So coming out of COVID, we were sitting really pretty and the economy started booming. Step 2 is the bridge. That's when the savings runs out and everybody starts turning to credit to start covering all of their bills and expenses. And they've built up this lifestyle that they want to maintain, but now it's more expensive. So we start pulling out the credit cards more often and we start going into more debt. We start buying fancier cars like we wanted to, but we're having to pay more for them and now our bills are higher and our payments are higher and everything just costs more, but we still got credit and the economy looks great. Why would we worry about this? Step 3 is the wall.
Okay, just want to touch base on those first two. When the stimulus checks came out, I wanted to refuse it. Everyone's like, was happy about the free money, but I knew what was going to be coming after when it came to prices. So I remember just joking with everybody. If I return my stimulus check, can I just keep regular prices for myself and my family? As far as credit cards go, I have not gone down that route. I was very immature when I was 18 and they sent me my first credit card. I maxed it out. They sent me another one. I maxed it out. Sent me another one. I maxed it out. And it took me a while to pay it all off. But eventually I settled and I was able to wipe that clean. So I kind of stay far, far away from that and the the monthly payment things. I forgot what it was called. But yeah, I don't do that either. But when it comes to people buying expensive things and they have to do the month to month, or it comes to credit cards, I believe this is the highest debt when it comes to credit cards that Americans have ever held, like in years, multiple years, like the highest, probably just the highest ever. And a lot of people aren't able to make the payments on it. So I don't want to say it's going to be negative future. Like, I'm trying to be positive about it, but at the same time, it's not looking good. So we'll see.
That's when savings are gone. That's when your credit card debt starts to get to the maximum, when you don't have any more credit limit to spend. This is when everybody starts realizing that they have to start pawning stuff off, which we started seeing. This is when everybody starts shopping more economically. This is why we started seeing a higher increase in high-income families, in Walmart, in Dollar Tree even. This is when you start seeing people start pinching, because it's starting to hurt. Step 4 that we're entering right now is the reset. This is when inflation has gotten to a breaking point. This is when people just can't survive anymore. This is now because lower income and certain neighborhoods are starting to see higher rates of foreclosures. We're starting to see more businesses closing. We're starting to see everybody tightening down because they're trying to figure out how they're going to survive the recession. And this algorithm has played out multiple times in U.S. history. The 70s stagflation is the most similar to what we got going on right now. But just remember that most of the numbers that we're working off of are before the real pain from the tariffs have hit and before you take into account the cost of gas having risen. This is exactly why 40% of U.S. households wouldn't be able to survive a flat tire right now. They don't have the savings and their credit's completely maxed out. And the summer's only going to get worse. Gas prices always rise in summer, and when you add the Iran war on top of it, they're going to just explode. Not to mention that we're going to start seeing the effects of having been in this struggle start coming through in July. So right now is planting season with farmers, and if the farmers didn't have access to the seeds and the oil and the products and the fertilizers that they needed because of transportation issues and because of shipping issues, because of the oil prices, we're going to start seeing that coming through in July when we have a decrease in available produce and an increase in... And honestly, that goes for most goods. Most goods have to be transported in some fashion, so you're going to start seeing the fallout of those shipping cycles coming through around July. So everything in July is going to immediately, go up 20-ish% minimum. And the only real way to combat this or try to get through it is to go into survival mode. Don't do anything that you don't need to do to survive. Groceries, utilities, rent, that should be pretty much it. Anything that costs anything for fun, sorry, can't happen. And do your best to move all your variable interest rate debt into fixed interest rate debt, such as a personal loan. Close the card after you empty it, and then put it all on a fixed rate loan so that it can't go up on you, because the APRs on credit cards are going to start climbing. Mine personally went from 21 to 26 this past year, and they didn't even say anything. They do it quietly. They do it sneaky. They don't tell you about it since you already signed the dotted line when you open the card saying that they can change their variable rate. But you need to go back and double check it because they're going to start creeping up. Average credit card APRs a couple of years ago, I think it was 2022, was 22%. Now the average is closer to 30. A lot of them I'm seeing are 27 and 30%. And I know it sucks for a lot of people and you don't really have the extra, but put anything you can into your savings account. Try to hang on to it. Try to go into a high yield if you can. But you're going to need the money. Everyone's going to need it before the summer's out.
Geez, that was a lot to unpack. She had a lot to say. Just briefly touch on... Okay, yeah, the Iran war was, I don't think was a good thing. It did affect prices, but in my area, at least here in July, that was back in April, I think I saw on there. She said gas prices would go through the roof. It's actually gone down. Grocery store prices, I haven't really seen a decline in that, but I don't expect to. Also, when it came to the farmers and the fertilizer, I don't think we're actually going to see the effects of that until next spring. We got what we got right now in the stores, and all the farmers have done what they can to get by and make produce for everybody. But obviously not all farms got the fertilizer, or maybe they got it too late or started growing too late. I'm not entirely sure about that, but I know it was affecting the farmers, but I feel like we're not going to see the effects of that fertilizer hold up until probably maybe this fall. But yeah, we're definitely going to be struggling to have regular, just, fruits and vegetables.
If you only want to work 4 hours, it's going to be harder for you to get a house.
Oh, Jesus Christ. First and foremost, Whoopi Goldberg, shut the fuck up.
Oh man, finally somebody said it.
Stop speaking. You have been rich for the last 40 years. You don't get to hop on TV and speak on anybody's lifestyle at all. Shut up. I am so sick of boomers and older people and everybody in that category calling Gen Z and millennials lazy, like we're just some generation of people that don't want to work. We just want everything handed to us. We're just super entitled. Cut the bullshit. Stop the cap. That $500, $600, $700 apartment that you had when you were in your 20s, that apartment that you could afford and still save money to buy a house one day, that house that was $30, $40, $50,000 when you were little, triple that shit. Quadruple that shit. That's what we're paying nowadays.
Okay, but not everyone has your work ethics. Just saying. That's all. I'm not going to say they're all lazy and they all don't want to work and they want everything handed to them, but there's a few of them that would just rather live off the system.
With wages that don't match the increase in pricing. Let's talk about that. The wages, they don't match the increase in pricing at all. So I don't want to hear y'all say we're lazy and we're entitled. Motherfucker, we are working. Most of the people I know are working 40 plus hours a week, 50 plus hours. Some are working 60 plus hours a week. And then when they get their paycheck for their hard work, they pay their bills and then they hope for the best until their next paycheck. So
That's true. Everyone, I think they said it was like 75% of Americans are all living paycheck to paycheck. I hate to admit it, I do that for sure. I live paycheck to paycheck. And like a lot of people say, all it's going to take is one gigantic fuck you from the universe. A car breaks down, need to get a new one, or something would happen that would derail it. And they're absolutely right, it would screw the average American over, just having one bad thing happen. And the fact that we live paycheck to paycheck, it would just destroy us.
But don't look at us like we're fucking lazy and crazy because we're pissed off about the state of the economy, the housing market, groceries, everything like that. A friend of mine just told me she went to Chili's. Fucking Chili's last night. 2 drinks, 2 meals, and dessert, $100+ for a fucking dinner at a restaurant. I used to go to Applebee's when I was little. It was like $30, $40 for my whole family. Now 2 people got to go spend over $100? Like, you see how that don't make no fucking sense? But let us speak about it. Let us complain about it. Let us voice it. And now we're lazy and entitled. Another point. I hate when older people are like, oh, we had to struggle for what we had. We went through war and turmoil for what we had. Y'all do too. What the fuck kind of mindset is that? What the fuck kind of mindset is that? That's like having kids and being like, oh, I struggled and went hungry when I was young, so you will too. You see how that doesn't make any fucking sense?
I mean, kind of. I am guilty of this myself when it comes to my kids. My kids are spoiled, and I have myself to blame for that one, and they just don't understand when it comes to taking care of, their things. And I always got to paint the picture of how it was when I was a kid growing up and how I didn't have as many toys as they do when they don't want to be grateful for the food that they have on their plate, and they rather just, can I just take 2 more bites and not take any more? Really starting to make me angry. I mean, and they eat relatively good compared to what I grew up on. So yeah, I do have that mindset that I struggle sometimes growing up, that they need to struggle a little bit, because I feel like it's going to make them give them a little humility. That's all I want, a little bit.
This is not millennials and Gen Z and young people complaining or being entitled or just wanting things handed to us. This is us saying, hey, we are working our asses off every day of the fucking week. And when we get a return on our efforts, it's minimal, it's bullshit, it's crumbs, and we have the fucking right to voice it, and it's exhausting. It's fucking exhausting. I sound like a broken record because I've spoken on this so many times, and nothing changes. We are hardworking, law-abiding citizens, and owning a home is like a pipe dream for us nowadays. Why do we go look at 2-bedroom apartments and the lowest price we see is $2,000, $2,100? Sometimes, most of the time, drastically more than that. I don't want to hear it from y'all anymore. I don't want to hear the we're lazy and entitled bullshit anymore. The guy whose video I'm stitching, he did a beautiful job of portraying and showing how it's fucking increased. That 10, 15% of your income that went towards your housing alone, and then you had that 80, 85% of your income still in your pocket for other shit. $40 to 60% of our income goes to housing alone. Do you think that the increase in people promoting mental health and going to therapy and shit like that is just for shits and giggles? People are fucking depressed. People are fucking struggling. Let me ask you all this. How many of y'all didn't buy the Christmas gifts you wanted to this year? If any. How many of y'all have a light Christmas tree this year, but last year or a few years back you never did? It's not a fucking coincidence. A lot of people are struggling, and even worse, a lot of people are faking it. Speak out. Speak up. It's gonna stay the same unless y'all open your fucking mouth.
Once I looked up and seen grown people working kid jobs and wasn't nobody saying nothing about it no more, I knew the economy was fucked up, bro. It been a time where you would see a grown person at McDonald's and you would talk shit about them. Now if you see somebody there, you ain't gonna say shit because you get it.
That's true. That's true. I remember I ordered pizza one night. Well, my parents ordered us pizzas, and I remember, I believe it was my science teacher from middle school. He showed up to deliver our pizza. And I used to think, oh man, what the hell is this old dude doing delivering pizza? Because I thought that was like a teenager job. But now it's normalized now. Everything's so damn expensive. Adults have to take these jobs just to survive. They got kids at home. They got bills to pay. So yeah, I mean, now that it's normalized, like I don't even second guess it or second think it or think anything negative about an adult working a teenager's job. I mean, it just is what it is.
Yeah. Ain't nobody hiring. Ain't no money flowing for real. Even in the street, the money not the same. Yeah. So it's just all messed up all the way around.
I think Uber gave us the first taste. Remember Uber? Like everybody was Uber driver at one point. Okay. And like remember, like Uber, people were kind of judging people for being Uber drivers, but now it's like totally normal to be an Uber driver.
That's what I'm saying.
DoorDash was the new thing. I don't know why. I guess because it's food related that people were like, "Oh, you're DoorDash, you're broke." But it's like, I don't know, bro. I know people making serious cheese off DoorDash. It's like,
look, let me say that ain't nothing wrong with DoorDash and none of that.
Yeah.
Cause if I gotta do it, I'ma do it.
Thousands of U.S. retail stores shutter. Mass closures in 2026 include GameStop, Francesca's, Walgreens, Macy's, shuttering thousands of stores due to profitability pressures and changing consumer behavior. Why is this happening? Rising costs.
I was about to say, because it's so damn expensive. Everyone's penny pinching. Everyone is saving as much as they can to, hold off and maybe put a little bit aside for that one bill that's going to fuck you over and ruin the whole paycheck to paycheck. And next thing you know, you're trying to catch up on rent. You're trying to catch up on your utility bills. You got to pick between whether or not you can keep the lights on or if you're going to buy groceries for your family. So, yeah, everyone is kind of holding on to their money now.
Tariffs, reduce mall traffic, and a pivot towards digital sales. Not know, consumer confidence has been down for 14 straight months, and so has consumer spending. Do you know that it is the top 10% wealthy people that are holding up the spending right now? We are actually in a K-shaped economy. Mm-hmm. This means up here, these are the rich people, and down here, the middle class and lower class are having it worse. Small business bankruptcy is skyrocketing. If you did not know, small business makes up 99.9% of all business. It's not large corporations. 6,864 small business bankruptcies filed in 2026, just as of today, June 27th. So far, we are already 30% of the entire year of 2025 for business bankruptcy. 113 with the war with Iran, which is hurting the U.S. economy, causing inflation, high gas prices, high diesel prices, $1 billion to $2 billion a day on something we're not getting back in the USA. We're not getting any infrastructure, any programs, any growth, nothing. Look.
Well, yeah, we don't back the dollar with gold anymore. There's no manufacturing here in the United States. Only thing keeping us kind of afloat is the petrodollar. We are in a K-shaped economy, and I'm 100% convinced that if boomers had to start in this economy, they would not have ended up as wealthy as they are now. They wouldn't.
Look for small business bankruptcy to continue throughout 2026. Keep in mind, small business is 99% of the U.S. economy, not corporations.
Anyways, that's all I got for you. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you think Trump can fix this economy? Do you think all the decisions made all the way back from the days of Reagan were the right decisions? I mean, what would our economy look like, and what would the United States look like if we would have kept the dollar being backed by gold, if we would have kept manufacturing companies here in the United States instead of sending it off to China? How different would the United States look? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Like, share, subscribe, do all that fun shit, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks. Bye.